Next up is the backyard brawl, and unfortunately the final backyard brawl for at least a few years. Actually, we're going to get a backyard brawl from 2029 through 2036,
Yep.
I believe. So awesome news there, but we will have to wait a few years before we get another one. That's unfortunate because this one is always turned into amazing games, and this one's no different. West Virginia beating Pittsburgh 31-24 in overtime in the backyard brawl too. Let's go over the highest graded player, starting off with the Mountaineers. Their highest graded player, I'll talk about him in just a second, is Michael Coates Jr., the cornerback, 80.1. Ty Edwards, the running back, 76.2. Cornerback Jordan Scruggs, 75.5. Jason Chambers, the cornerback, 69.1. Also, the 69.1 grade is wide receiver Rodney Gallagher II, and Nico Marchiol, the quarterback, with a 62.6 grade.
One of many.
Yeah, one of many quarterbacks for West Virginia. I believe 3, right?
3 played, and he played 2 separate times. he was the first and the fourth in this game.
That's awesome. I love that. It's any way you can win the backyard brawl, you got to do it.
This is exactly why you do your quarterback room rankings, is this West Virginia team right here.
Exactly. Marchiol getting benched for a little bit, coming back in later on. But Pittsburgh, with their highest graded players, Nick James, D-tackle, 85.6. Another D-tackle, Sean Fitzsimmons, 80.6. Another D-tackle here, Francis Brew, 79.6. Edge rusher Blaine Spires, 78.3. Cruz Brookins, the safety, 78.1. And Eli Holstein with a 54.4 grade. In the loss for Pitt, Dalton, what told the story for you?
I mean, just first of all, just a fascinatingly wild football game that you always get between these two games. Last year, West Virginia had a 10-point lead with 5 minutes left. They blew the game. Pitt won it.
Yeah.
This year, Pitt's got a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter, and they blow it, and they lose it in overtime. You have the story of Marchiol, and then they go to Scotty Fox, and then they go to Jalen Henderson, and then they go back to Marchiol for those last 3 drives. And Rich Rodriguez is just the mad scientist with this court. Maybe he was playing possum the whole time on Marchiol. I don't know, but either way, the last 3 drives are really the story. Nico Marchiol in the fourth quarter and overtime, when he came back in for his second stint, 77.5 passing grade, 10 of 13, 116 yards, the game-tying touchdown. I don't even know how to explain this game. I really don't, because after a while I'm watching it.
Backyard brawl, man.
This is just not. I mean, because you had West Virginia up 14-3. Pitt goes up 24-14. And then Marchiol comes back in for a second try with about 9-10 minutes left. And he scores 17 points and they outscores Pitt 17-0 the rest of the way. And Pitt, with their one chance maybe to close the game out, just under 3 minutes left. They had a 4th and 4 at the West Virginia 37. Maybe your kicker's good enough to hit a 55-yarder. Maybe you just go for it to try to ice the game. Instead, they decide to take a delay of game, punt it all of 29 yards, give West Virginia the chance to tie the game. They do tie the game, and then they win in overtime. I mean, just a wild, nonsensical football game that you could get only in a handful of rivalries in this sport. And Pitt, West Virginia is one of them. And like you mentioned, boy, Pitt's got to sit on that. The Pitt fans have to sit on that till 2029.
Oh, yeah.
That's tough. And West Virginia, credit to them, obviously, they've got a boatload of transfers. There's a boatload of transfers that made an impact in this game. Rich Rodriguez is trying to build the culture and put it together. They just lost their best player to a season-ending injury last week, and yet they find a way. I mean, you just credit Rich Rodriguez for keeping his team in the game, and the quarterback bit in this game was one of the wildest things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
We saw 3 different guys, and one of them twice, and eventually on the 4th try, that's the one that wins them the game. Just unreal stuff in the fourth quarter and overtime of this game. Just unbelievable.
Really, one of my stats has to be Holstein just not taking advantage of a vulnerable West Virginia secondary. And how about West Virginia with a 76.6 coverage grade in this one, too? Easily the highest of the season. And they played Robert Morris in Ohio in their first 2 games, and they had their best coverage grade this week against Pitt. But really, Pitt also had 14 penalties for 118 yards. The penalties killed the Panthers in this ball game. West Virginia only had 6 penalties for 60 yards, so far more disciplined play from West Virginia. These penalties really stalled Pitt's drives, and they extended West Virginia drives too. And it really was a factor in Pitt blowing a 10-point lead to West Virginia in the fourth quarter when their defense had been playing well too. These penalties for Pitt just really killed them in this one.
I'm looking. You said 76.6 for West Virginia's coverage grade?
Yeah.
I was just looking back because I know it was rough last year. It's higher than any game last year. And I'm going back through the years. That's their highest since week 9 of 2020. And this was one of the worst secondaries in college football last year. And
Yeah.
you mentioned the Nevada transfer, Michael Coates. He's an excellent football player. Loved him from Nevada at Nevada last year. But that's their highest coverage grade in 5 years.
That's crazy. I didn't even know that.
I didn't know that either. I figured I was looking back to see, okay, it's higher than any game last year, right? And of course it was.
Yeah.
And I'm like I'm going. It's been since 2020. That's their best coverage grade in 5 years. It's just crazy. And they did. And Holstein struggled in this game big time.
And they needed him.
And
this is the game where he should have been carrying them to a win, and he just couldn't do it.
Yeah, I mean, it was good for a while, and obviously they benefited from West Virginia turnovers and their poor quarterback play, but it was a struggle for Holstein in this game, and you feel like all of a sudden, and it feels like last year when West Virginia blew the Pitt game, and then everything kind of tanked from there. I'm not saying Pitt's going to tank, but they got some things to figure out here. They just gave up 31 points to a team that didn't even know who their quarterback was within this game. So, I mean, there's a long way to go. West Virginia's got a fun game against Kansas next week. There's a lot to figure out for both of these teams, but huge win to get the backyard brawl. And Rich Rodriguez's first one back, too. Got to love that.
I love that, yeah. Who was your most impressive player from this game?
Well, what I talked about in the preview was somebody had to step up for Jaheim White. And it ended up being a guy that was not mentioned in the preview because he only played 8 snaps and did not get a carry in their first 2 games. The Northern Iowa transfer, Ty Edwards, 6'2", 225 pounds, 25 carries in this game. Came out of nowhere, didn't get a carry the first 2 games. So, of course, we could have predicted that. 141 yards, 3 touchdowns, 8 missed tackles forced. Where was this guy the first 2 games? I want to know where he was when they were in trouble against Ohio last week. I mean, Ty Edwards, he had a 1,000-yard season at Northern Iowa last year, and obviously you're jumping up from the FCS, but man, he's the guy now. We were asking in Jaheim White's absence for somebody to step up in this backfield. It's Ty Edwards. That's it. That's your answer. Done deal. He proved it in this game, and he had the game-winning touchdown at the end as well. Just a big 225-pound back that really was the answer for West Virginia in a running game that's so crucial to their offense.
I'll shout out Michael Coates Jr. here, the cornerback, who we actually, in our preview for West Virginia before the season, we actually shouted him out as the defensive player to know for this team, and he transferred over from Nevada. He had a very good year at Nevada the year before with an 80.9 PFF grade, and we said, hey, they need this guy, considering the secondary was the 5th worst coverage grade in the country last year. They need guys like Michael Coates Jr. to come in and perform at a high level for the secondary to be better, and he did in this game. 80.2 PFF grade, 1 catch allowed for 2 yards on 35 coverage snaps. Also had a forced incompletion in this ball game too. Like I said, they needed Michael Coates Jr. to come in and be the leader of this secondary, and he was the best player on the field, in my opinion, in this backyard brawl.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, he's a really good football player. You get a transfer in like that who played as well as he did at Nevada last year, and that can really fix your secondary. It was fantastic stuff from West Virginia's defense.